Hey everybody, welcome to another Collector's Haven. I'm Mike Pingel, your host, and today in the house, yes, we have collector Mark, who collects on DC superheroes, Superman, Masters of the Universe, and of course horror. Everything he had as a child. You know, we love our hearts, and we now buy our toys that we love in our hearts. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay. I've had a bit too much coffee today, I think. I do. I think I did. Thank you for being here today and sharing your collection. I'm so excited to see it. I saw a couple pictures of your huge Superman collection, and it was on your Facebook page. So I'm excited to see what else we have to look at. But so explain to everybody, what do you collect? I mean, how do you look at your collection, and what do you call it?
I collect anything and everything that pretty much I wanted as a kid. If I wanted it as a kid, then back then it was a little bit harder to get it. Now I just feel the need to buy it like as soon as I see it. It's like, okay, I wanted that, now I'm gonna own it. And that's pretty much how I describe it. I don't have any other way to describe it, I guess. Just whatever striked my fancy as a kid.
Excellent. Now, are you looking for things that were made when you were a kid, or do you buy like the retro or the new stuff that's being produced on these items?
Both. If it is something that I had like a personal attachment to as a child, then yes, I want that particular one. But if there is a newer, better version of it, then I will go for that.
Excellent. Now, were you collecting as a kid, or were you just a kid buying toys, or?
I was just a kid buying toys back then. Now it's totally different. Now it's just like it's got to be in a collection. It's got to be nice. So, yeah.
Oh, so are you one that opens up the packages, or do you actually keep them in the boxes, or do you buy two?
I very rarely do I buy two, only because it's so expensive. But for the most part, I am open it, display it, because I personally believe mint in box is a waste of plastic. I want to look at it. I want to see it. I want other people to be able to look at it and hold it and move it around.
Nice. I like that. I haven't heard that kind of analogy of mint in box, of ripping it apart. I just bought some. I know that you don't collect Star Wars. We talked about this before, and I'm sorry for you. But I bought some Star Wars stuff that I opened up, some newer stuff to actually take out the box. Now, my Charlie's Angels stuff is all in box and mint, and so I'm kind of like a mint in box kind of guy.
Well, I think I guess it would kind of speak to the value of the item. If it was something like that just holds a particular value only in the box, then I think that I probably would leave it in. Like I have a 70s Mego Superman, the larger Mego one. The box is in rough shape, but it was exactly like the one that I had as a child. My brother bought it for me. He found it in his travels. He and his wife picked it up and brought it to me. I keep that in the box. I've never opened that.
Oh my gosh. I love that you have your brother looking out for stuff for you too. That's great.
Oh yeah, I have people all over the country. Like it's weird. People send me messages and say, "Hey, I found this. Do you have it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't have that," and they'll send it to me. So it worked.
That you have your collectible humans out there trying to find them for you. Where do you find your collectibles? Do you like going hunting for them? Do you like to do eBay? What is your collecting like hunt?
I actually prefer to hunt. Buying online is simple, and in some cases it's the only way to go because some stores don't stock some things. But I prefer to hunt. I'll hit the Walmarts, I'll hit the Targets, I'll hit the comic book stores. There's another one in the state capital. It's called Think Geek. It's kind of an offshoot of GameStop, so I'll go there. Just pretty much wherever I can find what I'm looking for. Sometimes you can find them even in discount stores. So.
Oh yeah, I remember I used to go to like, you know, places such as yard sales or going even to, you know, thrift shops. But now those, you know, everybody knows about eBay and everyone's like grabbing stuff and, you know, reselling it. So
Yeah. Well, that's another problem that I run into a lot is the whole reselling. Like I'm not paying $800 for a figure I could have bought for 25. That's just not me.
And people now are, I think, making prices out of control. I'm like, come on, this piece is not worth this much.
Oh no.
You know, so it's interesting. So well, that's good, because I love the hunt too. I love going out and looking and trying to find stuff. Do you do that often, or is there a weekly, you know, a time you go, or how do you?
For the Walmarts and the Targets, it's pretty much a daily thing, because I'm already there anyway due to work. So I just go in quick once around and then I leave. But for like the comic book stores and Think Geek and that kind of thing, then I typically just do that like once a week, once every 2 weeks. So.
Oh, nice. So you're out there, you know, getting your Fitbit, you know, walking,
Yeah.
trying to find everything you had. What is your very first piece of your collection that you have?
The very first piece of my collection that I still have is actually a Superman action figure that came out in the 90s, right after the Death of Superman storyline. It came out, Kenner did this line called Superman Man of Steel, and they had this figure called Power Flight Superman. And that is him. I actually do have another one of these that I found years later that is still in the package. But this is the one that I actually bought for myself. It's the first Superman that I ever bought for myself. Yeah.
Nice. Now I see he has like the classic blue and the classic
Yeah.
X on it. When my background of Superman is mostly movies. What is your favorite outfit that Superman had? Is it the classic one or the black one, or what is your?
My favorite outfit for Superman is, it's kind of a cross between the classic one and one upgrade that they're using in the comic books now. For the most part, his suit in the comic books is this classic suit, but there's actually like arm cuffs that he has now, that I think add a little bit more detail to his suit. And that's pretty much the only other change I would make to his classic suit. Everything else, the black suit is cool, but it's not as cool as the original suit to me. So.
Excellent. So basically, in your collection, Superman is like the focus of everything you do as far as collecting is concerned. Would I be correct on that?
I think it's fair that Superman would be, but running a extremely close second now is going to be Masters.
Okay.
Superman, first and foremost, if there's a new figure coming out or whatever, then I have to check it out. I have to see that one. So.
Okay, so here's some questions about Superman. Your favorite movie?
My personal favorite movie for Superman was, I guess I got to go with Man of Steel. I like Henry Cavill in the role. Christopher Reeve was okay. I don't have any issue with him. I actually have the hot toys of him. I liked him as Superman, but I think that Henry Cavill is a little bit more modern, and I kind of like that aesthetic.
So who would be your favorite Superman?
My favorite Superman's going to be Henry Cavill, yeah.
Okay, excellent. What's your favorite Superman TV show?
That one's tough. Superman and Lois is actually coming on pretty strong this season. I'm liking that one, but if I'm going for overall from what I know, complete series, I'm going Smallville. Nice.
I do like the new one too. I like the new one. I've been watching it myself. So we did. I think we did all. Okay. So this is the big question: comic book versus theater TV.
I'm always going to go comic book.
Okay.
Because the story that got me into Superman was the death storyline. Prior to that, one of my other brothers actually was a huge Superman fan, and it was like a sibling rivalry thing. I always just wanted to see Superman get beaten, because he always just came out on top. And it was like, okay, well, let's just see this guy get beaten. And then the storyline comes up and he dies, and I get to the end of it and I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. Like, I'm like, how does it end? So it got me hooked into the character. And now I kind of feel the way I did with Superman, I kind of feel that way about Batman now. Like they made him to the point where he's unbeatable. And it's like, it makes for a really boring character. Like it's like I want to see a little bit more struggle with Batman particularly. And I just don't think that they're really hitting on that with Batman.
Well, it's kind of hard because Batman's really just a human being with lots of money. I can
Yeah.
understand. I can understand Superman because he is, he's Superman. He's, he has many, many superpowers, but Batman is kind of just like you and me, just with a good suit.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to the point where he's literally fighting toe to toe with Superman and Wonder Woman, and in some cases winning, it's like, okay, this guy's unbeatable. Like it kind of makes for a boring thing. And for me personally, with Batman, I feel that his supporting cast is way more interesting than he is.
Yeah.
Nightwing especially is like my favorite of the Batman family. So.
Well, it just goes to show you, money will buy you everything. So there.
That's right.
Money will buy you everything. Okay, so let's go through. Let's start looking at your collection. What is your most prized possession in your room?
Oh, I don't know if I have one prized possession because everything has I have like a personal connection to so many of them. But the one piece that took so long to finish, one Snake Mountain from Super 7 took a while to get only because, it was pre-order. But the one that was so hard to get just because it was just nearly impossible to get all the pieces was this guy. Metallo here. This guy. He was part of Mattel's Collect and Connect wave, and the Eradicator figure in that line was just next to impossible to get. And so this poor guy was missing an arm for 2 years, and finally was able to get that figure and finish him. So yeah, I have to say that he's got to be one of my favorites only because of that.
That's so nice of you, having him there and nurturing him back to his.
Oh yeah, he was. Every other part was so easy to find, but that arm was just ridiculous to find, and now he's complete. So yeah, he has to stay.
Nice. So let's go ahead and look at some of the stuff on the shelf. I love this stuff.
Okay, so here we go.
So that was Supergirl, and what's up with that Superman with the two face?
This is actually the Cyborg Superman. He's actually a Superman villain, and during the Return storyline, he was one of the pretenders to the Superman title. His name is actually Hank Henshaw. They've updated his storyline in the comic book, so the character's a little bit different now. But the original one, this particular version, is Hank Henshaw.
So are these all villains on this shelf?
This shelf is villains, yes. And of course, you got to have Lex in the front. This guy that's very dimly lit here, that's going to be General Zod. It's a statue of him.
So who's your favorite villain he fought?
I think that my favorite villain is always gonna be Lex, because Lex is just he's similar to Batman. Like, he's just a guy with a lot of money, but he causes so many problems. But I think my second favorite villain for Superman is probably going to be Doomsday, just because he's just completely unstoppable. So, yeah, there's that show.
Nice. What? Show us more. Show us more.
Yeah, this shelf is some of the Smallville figures, and of course, his glasses. And then going up the bookcase, these are Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Superman and Metallo. There in the back is a very giant Superman. And I like every version of Superman so far. So I've got a representation of course, every actor that has ever played him in some shape, way, or form, except for Kirk Allen, the original on-screen Superman. I don't have anything for him yet, so I've got to find something.
Have they made anything on him?
I don't think they've made a figure of him yet, but I'll probably get a lithograph or something. This is actually the Hot Toys Christopher Reeves Superman in that box. I rarely take that out of the box, but it has been opened.
Wow. Do you find they're doing a lot of stuff with the movie stuff or more classic stuff? What do they kind of focus on?
They actually focus on both. And I'm sorry, some of this is so dark. They do kind of both. McFarlane's currently got the license for the DC stuff, so they typically do a lot of different ones. They'll do the movies and then they'll do the classic ones. I personally prefer that they do the classic ones, but the movie ones I will collect as well. This particular figure actually is one of his newer suits in the comic books, and here you can kind of see those arm cuffs I was talking about in addition to his current suit. I kind of like that. But I also do the Lego sets.
I love it. What about that? I want to see that stuffed Clark Kent behind that one with him.
Oh, this one, he is kind of cool because he isn't just Clark Kent. If you turn him around, he is Superman. That actually came from Hallmark. They have this whole line of stuff they call itty bitties, and they're basically little bean bags. But I just kind of stuff him back there just because he's kind of funny.
He's so cute. I love him.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is funny because the scene that he's in is actually the death scene from the comic books, where you see Doomsday is actually on the ground and then Superman's dead beside him. So it adds a little bit of lightness to the scene, I guess.
Exactly.
But yeah, so then going down still more. This is my newest Superman. This one is the Mafix Hush Superman. A lot of people really love this figure. Mine, one of its arms does not like to stay on, so I have to do a little bit of repair work to him. Christopher Reeve ornament. This one actually plays the theme. Of course.
I love it. Because Chris is my favorite.
Yeah.
Always will be.
This is the Tall Mego figure I was talking about. The box has seen better days, but yeah, I can't bring myself to open this just because, you know, it's lasted this long, even in the box as bad as it is. It's managed to survive, so I just can't bring myself to open it up. I had this figure as a kid, and I remember playing with it all the time. I loved that figure. This figure, just conversely to the other shelf, is all the heroes, with, you know, one notable exception of Doomsday there in the center.
Well, they can't have a day off. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing.
Oh, this is the figure, the Eradicator here, that came with the arm to Metallo. That took me 2 years to get. Then he was actually much easier to get after I found him 2 years later, and I wound up buying a second set that I keep in storage. Just in case he ever breaks, I have a spare.
Thank goodness. All right, what's coming up now? I love that Superman in the clouds.
Yes, this is a PVC statue. See if I can get a better picture of his face. This one I picked up while I was on vacation in Tennessee. Behind him is a rarely seen version of Doomsday. When he first appeared in the comic books, Doomsday was in a containment suit to keep his full powers for manifesting and It was kind of his burial suit when he was beaten once and on another planet that rocketed here. And this is a representation of that. When I saw that figure, I had to own it because I'd never seen him in the containment suit in a figure form before. And of course, there's the regeneration black suit Superman that seems to be pretty popular. Everybody seems to like the black suit. This next shelf has the various suits of Superman. That's from the Red Sun storyline. Got the red electric Superman in the back. Various artists' interpretations of the character.
Talking about that, how do you feel about the the changing the storylines and the outfits and as a collector and a lover of Superman, how do you feel about that? Do you go with the flow, or do you go, oh, why are they doing that?
It depends on the storyline for me. In some cases, I'm like, you shouldn't have changed that. That doesn't work. And then at other points, I'm like, well, that is kind of cool. I like that idea. Because, eventually they're always going to come back to the classic look, no matter how many times they try to change it with like the Kingdom Come suit or the black regeneration suit. They're always going to come back to that classic look of Superman. You just have to kind of wait, and eventually it will show up. Like for the longest time, they got rid of the red trunks, and they tried it again with this suit, but eventually those red trunks always reappear because it's just so iconic to the character, I think. And so I kind of wait it out. If they change it, and I'm like, yeah, it'll come back around. What
was the purple suit that he was wearing?
This is from a storyline called this particular figure is Superman the Infected. In the comic books currently, there is a character called the Batman Who Laughs. He's kind of like an amalgamation of Batman and the Joker. And he was attacking the DC universe, and in order to get in close and do what he needed to do, Superman infected himself with the same virus, and this is what he looked like. A lot of people think that this figure is Bizarro, but he is not. That is actually Superman. His face is just all Jokerized.
Nice. I like the purple.
And that, of course, is a Tim Bruckner, more classic look of Superman. And then this is a very tall version of the same figure. Mattel had these things called two-up figures for the longest time, where they did a twice as large version of the figure. And this is the cyborg version of Superman for that. Brainiac. This is one of the only 3 Funko Pops in my entire toy room. Funko Pops are really cool if you can recognize the character, but there's a lot of them that if you take them out of the box, you really wouldn't know who they are.
That's true. That's true.
So this one is one of my 3 that I have in here. I have actually 4. I have 4. The 3 other ones are Masters of the Universe related. That in the box is Doomsday as he usually appears, and he's holding the ripped up Superman cape. You can see him through the window. And then, of course, another version of General Zod. This is Superboy. This Superboy ultimately becomes a villain. He does not remain a hero. DC and Marvel both have this thing called the multiverse, various versions of the different characters, and this Superboy ultimately does become a villain, sadly. There's a line in the movie Batman versus Superman. No one stays good in this world, and apparently that rang true for Superboy. This figure of Superman I kept from Superman Returns because it actually shows off one of his powers that you rarely see, which is his Arctic breath. There's this little pump on the back. You push it, and it'll actually blow out water or air if you want it to. It's kind of weird, but a little niche kind of thing. There's another version of Superboy. This is actually a custom figure I put together because for a while they had not released any Radicator in the line, and so I made one myself, but ultimately they released one. We got a Justice League or a Superman Monopoly set there. I got a Justice League one elsewhere in the room. And of course, Lex. There was a line in the movie Justice League Animated where Lex actually makes the statement that he had to go home and put on his power suit before he got in a fight. And everybody always thinks it's this big armored suit, but Lex actually sees his business suit more as his power suit.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
This is my first ever statue that I bought. It's based on the art of Jim Lee. And I had this sucker the second I saw it. I have that comic book. I have everything about it. I love Jim Lee's artwork. I think it's great. This figure of Clark Kent, a lot of people have an issue with, and I see it. There is no way that this guy, this scrawny little dude, is going to change into that. Like, there is no way that business suit is even remotely right. This was a buck mold that they used for pretty much every figure that wore a suit, and it just really doesn't work for Superman. But the figure looks good if you don't put him beside Superman. This statue, it comes in 3 different parts, or excuse me, this one's 2. The Batman one is 3. And each side of 2 characters comes with a part to build Superman. It actually comes apart. And you can reassemble. They did one for Batman as well. And had all of his. This is a holiday nutcracker my family found for me.
I love it. I love it.
This is probably the best bargain I have ever found in the toy room. Target had kind of a pseudo-Mego wave for a while. And this was one of those figures. If you actually got in when they first put them out, they were supposed to be priced at $20, but they mistakenly put the shelf tag at $4.99. So I bought 2 of them for less than one of them normally costs. One of them is out of the box. One of them stays in the box. So, and of course, animated Superman. More villains and such, and I really wish the lighting was better on that shelf. This is the Death storyline all the way up to the Return in one big notebook. And then, of course, we got more figures. And more. A ginormous 3D puzzle of Metropolis. You can actually see the monument to Superman here.
That's very cool. Did you put that together, or does it come like that?
You have to put it together. You can see it's actually a genuine puzzle. You can take it apart. They did one of these for Gotham City as well. I did not get Gotham City, but I did get Metropolis. The Daily Planet building. This is a Japanese company that produced this one, which is why he looks so weird. I think that the most odd collectible that I have for any collection, be it Superman or Masters of the Universe or any of the others, is a jar of Superman peanut butter that was made back in the day. My wife actually found it at an antique store, and it's here in the toy room. It's just well hidden. And of course, same thing. Darkseid being another huge Superman villain. Pretty much a villain to the entire DC universe, but Superman specifically. And yeah, there we go. And then, of course,
Nice.
we have another little cubby of him over here that showcases like the Daily Planet and stuff like that. But for Superman, that's pretty much it. He's
Oh, that's more than pretty much it. That's a lot of character, a lot of Superman. I love it.
Well, I actually saw another video that you had done with another Superman collector, and his entire collection is Superman. So, yeah, that was kind of impressive.
Yes, well, yours is impressive too. What I love most about collectors is even if you collect the same thing, you collect a different way, and it's amazing. So, can we see some of the other stuff, some Master of the Universe and some horror stuff that you have
Absolutely.
collected? Look at that stuff.
Absolutely.
I saw there was a
So,
Harry Potter flying around too.
you saw what?
There was a Harry Potter flying around.
Oh, yeah. This one is that is a ceramic statue, and he actually comes with a hook. You can hang him up, but he is so heavy, you got to hang him from like a ceiling rafter or something. But yeah, that's him. I also have the Sword of Omens from Thundercats. Waiting on the Thunder Tank from Super 7, which should be along in about a year. I've already got a home. It will be living there. I do a lot of Transformers, but I'm nowhere near as big into Transformers as my oldest brother and his family. They have almost everything Transformers and G.I. Joe. They do G.I. Joe a lot. But I keep all the Titans up top because they're just so large. I also have OCD, so if you see something on the left, you can just bet there's something on the right. The whole room has to be balanced in some shape, way, or form. So yeah, there's a smaller collection of Harry Potter and Star Trek. Star Trek actually got me into collecting, but I kind of got out of it, only because there was just so much. You just, after a while, you can't do it so much. If I'm going to be nitpicky on any line of figures, it will be these. These are the Defenders of the Earth set that just came out from NECA. I'm usually a huge defender of NECA toys, but I will say that opponents of that company are right on this one, because the figures have a lot of QC and paint issues. These things are not collector grade. They're not great. So if you really have to have them, you really should just pose them once and you're done. Don't try to fiddle with them at all. So here we go with Masters. Starting at the top, we got Point Dread and the Talon Fighter from the Classics line. Sideshow She-Ra. She was one I had to have immediately. Classics Castle Grayskull. And you can actually see at the top, the Sorceress is up there in the top of the castle. I keep Grayskull closed, even though it does open up. Snake Mountain, however, I leave it open because it is like the centerpiece of the toy room. Of course, there's He-Man. The Wind Raider. And coming down. I mix He-Man up with the Savage World and Primal Age stuff because they're supposed to be that. This will be Aquaman in the DC Primal Age, which is meant to go along with the He-Man figures. This is Spydor. Cool thing about Spydor, most of these that you find do not work. He actually will walk across the floor. All the legs actually move. I found one that worked. It needed a little bit of TLC, but I got him to work. And of course, even Superman pokes in here because there's Crypto, there's his dog. And then we got like the Origins figures, which are just hitting everywhere.
Those are the new retro ones that they just released?
Yes. Some people that watch this are going to be like, that's not the Origins He-Man. It is. This head is an alternate head that you can actually get with the battle armor He-Man. The figures are meant to pop apart so you can customize them and go back together really easy. I swapped the head that came on it for the more classic looking head just because I wanted to look a little bit more retro. This is the Joker's Beast in the Primal Age line. And of course, I have two versions of Panther. I have the Origins regular one that was mass market, and then I got the flocked Walmart exclusive, but I keep him displayed on Snake Mountain. This is actually not Battle Cat. This is Battle Lion. This is King Grayskull's steed. which is interesting because you can actually pop off all this armor and put it on the 2003 Battle Cat or the Classics Battle Cat actually, and make him look more like the 2003 series if you like. His Ultimate He-Man in the back. This is the Mega Constructs Castle Grayskull. It was patterned heavily after the Classics Grayskull, and yes, it has all the same functions. It opens and everything else. Ram Man's my newest figure that I got. And there, of course, is the Primal Age Superman. And as far as here's some more Funko Pops by remaining three. I got He-Man, Beastman, and Skeletor. This is the Battle Armor He-Man in Origins. He's the one that came with the alternate head. All these little Skeletor skulls came with little minifigures and little Mega Constructs sets like the little jet sled. And as far as Masters go, yes, I do have Origins Grayskull and the Land Shark. I just haven't opened the Land Shark yet. But this is Snake Mountain sitting in the middle of the room. It takes up an enormous amount of space. When Super 7 advertised this thing, they said it was big. They were not lying. It looks ridiculous in the pictures, but when you actually see it in person, it's even larger. I made a whole battle scene here just because I knew it was going to take up so much room, so I might as well display as many figures on it as I could possibly get. Of course, you got She-Ra fighting Hordak. And going up the mountain, He-Man taking on Too Bad and Blade. Squeeze is trying to catch Orko, who's trying to free Buzz off. Evelyn is one of my favorite characters, and this figure was bought for me by my brother and his family, and so I keep it on the top. So,
wow, how much that thing cost?
Snake Mountain was $600.
Wow.
It was pre-order and it was made to order only. It was actually previewed in 2006's San Diego Comic-Con when Mattel still did them, did the Classics line. But Mattel gave the license over to Super 7, and Super 7 found the mold, shrunk it down a little bit. So as big as this thing is, it was actually even larger originally. And they put it up for pre-sale, and they actually had a payment plan, which made it a lot easier. This is my Flocked Panther from Origins. He had to be near Skeletor, who actually sits on his throne.
So did it come in pieces or did it come in one big box?
I actually have pictures of me unboxing this thing. The box was big, but it came in so many tiny boxes, and you did have to assemble it. Like it was crazy. The spot, this whole top portion had to be put on, all the gates, of course, the net, the demon heads, pretty much everything had to be put together on this. It was massive, and it took a lot of time, because once you put it together, then you have to decide, well, is this where it's going to stay, or are you going to move it? It's not the easiest thing to move because it is so heavy. So once you get it where it's going to live, you're not going to move it anymore. That's going to be it. That's, unless you're going to get rid of it, it's where it's going to live forever.
Wow. How many do you know how many they sold of those?
I do not. I do know that being that it was a made to order, they had to reach a certain number of pre-sales before they would even begin to make the thing. Hasbro does something very similar with their HasLabs projects. They did the sail barge for Star Wars, and they did Unicron for Transformers. I know that Hasbro kept having to extend the date that you had to get your pre-order in order to make their minimum requirement to manufacture it. Super 7 did not have to do that with Snake Mountain. They hit their target early and then extended it because they're like, okay, well, this thing's still selling, so let's just keep going. And ultimately it came out, and that was it. It was the last piece that Super 7 did for the Masters of the Universe line before it went back to Mattel. Mattel took the license back, and now they're running with it with Origins and the Masterverse line. But this was it. This was considered to be the Masters of the Universe Classic swan song. But they did it right. They went out with a bag. They made probably the second biggest play set. The first being the G.I. Joe USS Flag. My brother has that. But this would be the second. I believe that the Sectar's Hive playset might be a close contender for the second largest, but from what I understand, this one beats it slightly.
Well, it's an amazing piece, and I can tell the reason why it's your focal point of your whole room.
It's kind of hard.
It is your room.
You can't move it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is there some collectible that you are searching for that you have not found yet?
There is. In the G.I. Joe line, G.I. Joe Classified is the newest line of G.I. Joe stuff there is. And they continuously put out these figures that are extremely hard for collectors to get because a lot of them are going directly to Target. Internet resellers are buying all of them and reselling them at ridiculous prices. And the hardest one for me to get is the character Beachhead. He was the first Target exclusive wave, and I just cannot seem to locate that figure. And I actually want him more for my brother than I want him for myself. I would love to have two, one for me and one for him. But if I could get just one, it would definitely be a gift for him because he is the biggest G.I. Joe collector I've ever met. And it would be a great gift. But my prized possession in that line is the Baroness because it took me forever to get her as well. Let's see if I can get a better shot of her. Oh, let's just, yeah. She was really, really difficult to get. And I just happened to walk in when she came right off the truck at my local Target. And a very nice gentleman actually went to the back and hunted this thing down for me. I was there for like an hour. But he ultimately found her, brought her out because I think she was like $30 at Target, between 30 and 40. And she was selling for like 180, 200, 250 online. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Wow.
These figures, they're crazy. And of course, I got Snake Eye's helmet, which is going to feature prominently in the new movie about to come out. These are my two newest for G.I. Joe. That's Flint and Lady J. So, yeah, I also have the retro waves that hit Walmart. I usually, for some reason, don't open those. I don't know why. I probably will at some point, but I typically keep them in the package for some reason for now. But, yeah, that's my Joe stuff. I also do Power Rangers. I love the helmets. The helmets look great. They display really well. And then, of course, my ginormous Batmans.
Wow.
Because everybody loves Batman. And everybody has their favorite Batman, favorite suit, and everything else. Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, the Arkham games, all of them. I also try to keep a version of every Batmobile. There's a couple of them that I'm missing, but I try to have a version of every Batmobile. These were the Lego sets that were exclusive to the Lego store. The Batmobile was very fun to build. It was huge. It is huge. It rolls. It's got all the tricks for the guns and everything else. And then, of course, there's the Batwing. It's big, but it doesn't have the same tricks and gimmicks that the Batmobile has.
Wow, you have a lot of things you collect on. I don't know how you do it.
It's kind of, it takes a lot of time. Well, there's a lot of Batman. I feel the same way about Batman that I do Superman. They haven't got one figure perfect yet. So for Batman specifically, I kind of made my own. I started with the Mattel base for Batman, but I added a DC Direct head because their base figure just had a really, really tiny head, and it didn't really work when you displayed them beside all the other figures. So I just kind of did a head swap on them, and it fixed the figure for my liking. My favorite Batman villain, besides the Joker, is always going to be Harley Quinn. I just think she's a great character. When they introduced her in the animated cartoon, she was just a perfect sidekick for the Joker. And that is actually the original action figure of Harley Quinn, the first one that was ever produced. That is the Batman family statue that is similar to my Superman one. Each of the two characters, Robin being in the front and then Catwoman, Gordon, Batwoman, they all came with a part so you could build Batman, who sits in the back. Probably the coolest Mr. Freeze figure I've ever seen personally. So I had to have that one. My Jim Gordon here, interesting story about this guy. He came with a pair of glasses that were very, very fragile. Most people get this figure and the glasses just don't last. So I couldn't have him without them. He had to have glasses. So I took two staples, put them together, bent them around a pencil, and put them on his head and wire rim glasses.
Very ingenious. Nice.
Everybody likes Batman. And I think Batman is a little bit harder to collect for and a little bit harder to display because his characters are so dark that really these should be on white bookcases. And I think when I redo the toy room next time, I'll probably do a white bookcase for Batman. And he's just got so many characters that I try to keep the best representation of each character in action figure form. I also have the giant Batmobiles, both the Ben Affleck one and the Christian Bale one. These things are remote controlled. They are enormous. This whole warehouse rack I put in here just to have a place to put those so they wouldn't sit on the floor.
Wow.
Superpowers Hall of Justice. It is complete. I have another one that's incomplete that I use just as a backdrop. The Justice Society from DC. And then, of course, all my horror and TV stuff. My two favorite horror icons are Michael Myers and the tall man from Phantasm. I have the Killer Spear from Phantasm that's here somewhere. I also really dig the Puppet Master films. These are actually full-scale replicas of Torch and Blade. Of course, Chucky and Tiffany. Alien. I actually preferred Aliens to Alien. I thought the Queen fight was really, really cool. And there's the Killer Sphere from Phantasm. Wish every collection has to have a Hannibal Lecter with his mask. I really enjoy Stranger Things. I haven't caught up on season 3, but those figures. Of course, Freddy and Jason. That's pretty much it for that. And then other characters. Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman. This giant 4-foot-tall Batman. I was kind of hoping that they would do a Superman, but they never really got around to it. But this guy is pretty cool. His chest lights up and actually sends the bat signal to the ceiling when you push his chest. And it does actually get bright enough to project it. So yeah, it actually gets really, really bright. It does shine the bat signal up. That's pretty neat.
Oh, that's nice. That is cool. That is cool. Wow. Whew. How much do you think this is all worth, sir?
I don't know about value as far as monetary worth. Some stuff that I have is actually in storage. It's not even in here. So I'd say anywhere between 50 to 75 grand.
Wow. I love it.
But as far as worth to me, I don't buy things necessarily for the monetary value. I buy it because, these were things that I couldn't get as a kid. And I think that every collector, whether you're collecting bottle caps, stamps, coins, or action figures, I think everybody collects it for the same reason. It reminds them of something, that there is something about it that appeals to them. And for me, it's all about nostalgia. This is what you grew up with. This is what you enjoyed growing up. And you couldn't just take $600 out of your piggy bank when you were a kid and buy Snake Mountain. It just didn't work that way. But now, we're all adults and we have jobs and we still act like kids, and so we can just drop $600 on a toy. It's great.
Exactly. So where can people find you if they have something they want to sell you, if they find that special G.I. Joe that you have for a good price, folks?
You can find me on Facebook. You just look for my name, D Mark Coppock.
Yes, we'll have the link below right here.
I'm there, and that's pretty much it. I'm on Twitter too, but I don't really mess with Twitter a whole lot. I'm also on Vero, same names. Facebook is the easiest one for everybody to use. It's just where I'm at.
Well, Mark, thank you. Your collection, I'm in awe. I didn't really talk that much because I was in awe of everything you were showing us. It's an amazing collection. I think there's even another room there that we didn't even go into.
That actually is the hallway coming into here. It's just pictures that are on the wall. Well, actually, this room, this might be what you're talking about. But that's actually just the closet of the toy room. I call it the toy room annex. But across the hall here is actually my wife's office. And she actually did volunteer space in there for a while, but I didn't think it was fair to take both rooms. So eventually what we're planning on doing is taking everything out of here and building what we call the toy house, so that we can revert this back to a guest room and all my toys will live in a climate controlled house of their own. And that way I can expand it even more.
All right, well, that's fancy. That's a fancy thing for your toys. I like it. We'll come back when you get that done. We can get that done. Mark, thank you so much for taking time today. I super appreciate it because you have an amazing collection. everybody out there, if you have an amazing collection, I want to talk to you too. Please let me know. You can DM me or email me. Please share this, like this, put your comments in. And thanks once again for showing, Mark, for showing your collection. And thank you everybody for watching. And I hope you all have a good collecting day. Are you going out and collecting now? Are you going to go out?
I actually am. Go out? Yeah, right now. Yeah, that's the idea.
All right. Well, I hope you find what you need. Thank you, Mark, so much.
Thank you.
Bye.